we are coming up with the different ways for us to scalp versus swing trade, for us to actually, taking a longer spot trade, for example. But more importantly, we are the only algos that offer more than just one indicators, specifically whether it's buy and sells or any other indicators. We are offering a lot more. So let's do a quick rundown. So what kind of indicators we have and what the strategy we have. So we currently have right now about total 3 strategies with different indicators. So before, we have our original indicators is our SniperX right here, for example, our SniperX version 6. But right now this is strategy 1 specifically. For specific this oscillator, what the oscillator is measuring is pretty much, and we're going to use gold as an example, is what we like to use them for is pretty much the reversal point, right? The reversal point of the actual trend for itself. So for example, as you can see right here, the trend in itself, every time we have an actual red ribbons and we have a crosses between the force line coming below the orange line, for example, right there, that's letting us know that the directional trend pretty much, the trend change from the 1 hour has changed. Whether it's an up, now it's going to the down. Whenever we see the actual opposite happen, where the ribbons start crossing back up for in terms of green, from red to greens, that signifies, specifically the crossing here too, signify that the actual downtrend is over, and now the reversal back up is there. So what Sniperx is used for is pretty much when it comes to time frame 1 hour and above, to kind of measure the overall trend perspective, the directional, whether it's in the same day or more than 1 day. Could be exponentially going further than that. To kind of demonstrate, for example, we're looking at the 1 hour before. Now we're looking at the 4 hours. You can see the difference in the changes in the directions. As you can see, the crosses from here in 1991, $1,991, signified goals on the trend has shifted from a 4 hour specifically. Then guess what it went to? $50 drops, right? From that right now, currently, we see the ribbons crossing. I mean, not crossing, but more importantly, it's more of a curving. So let us know at least the momentum is starting to die down. But they still have potential of dropping, but it still have opportunities. So same thing here. When you see the crosses between the actual, crosses of the F-force lines, as well as the actual green ribbons from and red ribbons from here, you can see how far we went up from that perspective. So the higher the time frame, pretty much the longer the overall trend direction. So this indicator is self-measuring, specifically from the 1 hour to the daily or the weekly. It lets you know that in the same day or foreseeable future, within a week, couple weeks, what are the changes like, or the direction like for gold or for any other current market assets. Now for this one, you can actually go down to lower time frame and scalp, because the same patterns repeat itself in this lower time frame. The only difference between the lower time frame and the higher time frame is that the play out of this ribbon is going to be a lot faster in the lower time frames, and it's going to be a lot slower in the higher time frame. It take more time to confirm. You see the same pattern happens, as you can see right here. The same patterns. When you get the crosses, you get yourself up momentum. You have a cross right here, you have a down momentum. So that is pretty much our strategy ones. Used in conjunction with this. So strategy 1 is measuring active force, the actual volume. See what the volume is, increase or decreasing, and the force. So that's what strategy 1 is there for. Strategy 1 can't use with strategy 2 and strategy 3 to predict the actual trend, and then from there you trade with the trend. Now let's move on to the next edition. Our next edition obviously is going to be our Alpha version 6.0. That was the original name, Alpha Algo version 6.0. But now we changed to Alpha ScalperX2. What does X2 stand for? X2 stand for strategy 2. The strategy 2 for this one come with the amazing support and resistance level. Pretty much buy. You have 3 different types of buy. For example, you have the Scalper Premium, Pro, and Elite. More generally, our trade will use Scalper Premium or Elite. Premium is pretty much a scalper buys and sell. It moves really fast. It predict really fast. So when the market is moving, Scalper Premium is the way to go, for example, right? But when it's not moving, when you're talking about consolidation, when you're talking about the market is moving slowly and you have that kind of issue, Scalper Elite will be the number 1 choice. So as you can see below this, for example, you can see the difference in the actual 6 notes itself. how accurate can it be, and pretty much what the actual signal is going to look like, for example. So, more specifically, when it comes to our actual indicators, pretty much the elite version is the ultimate indicator for itself when it comes to using different market, simply because it's measuring different types of signals, and it's pretty much remove a lot of the clutterness and the confusion that we have. So as you can see right here, the elite version right here, for example, you see the actual clean signal that give you very clarity in terms of that direction. There's no in between, for example. So a lot of traders that love that kind of signals, where a lot of indicators give bad signals and a lot of faulty signal, for example. Our elite version will actually solve that issues, and specifically more in consolidation area. It can go down to a lower time frame, higher time frame. It worked the same way, for example, right? So the elite version, like I said before, is meant there for you to actually use on all different market, whatever market you want to use. If you feel like the market's not moving well, you feel like the consolidation is there, and you feel like all the other issues, the other buys and sell signals are giving issues on, the elite version will pretty much solve that issues, as well as our Scalper Premium. Scalper Premium is, like I said before, is actually meant to be used when it comes to actual market is moving. Market moving, how do you know if market is moving? Well, the market is moving when the pricing itself is moving. You have the volume, you have the price action as really happening a lot. It's moving a lot. It's moving fast. You don't have this type of price action, right? You don't have this consolidation price action. You have a clear up, clear down, for example. It's called the trading with the trend, for example. So you can see right here, this is our Scalper Premium. When the market move, it will tell you exactly when to buy, when's the reversal point, buy, sell, reversal point. Very clean, right? Very clean in that perspective. So even our Scalper Premium, whenever the signals are popping, is actually pretty clean. So our strategy 2 is one of the best strategies that we have when it comes to a buy and sell signal, because it gives you a lot of options. For example, different option. We also have the reversal point. You can see the reversal point. Every time there's a reversal point, there's a potential increasing of that direction that's happening. Not saying it will go down to the ground and go up to the sky, for example, or astronomically increase. But more importantly, when the signals are skipping, at least for that short term, whether in the same candle or the next candle, we are having that up direction. We have the red X, you have that downtrend, you have the green X, you have the up, for example. So it's meant to use for more like additional signal, but it's not really there for you to as a one signal in itself, right? So we have different take profit, stop loss. So the strategy, from a strategy perspective, strategy 2 is a combination of the amazing resistance support level. You can see how good the resistance and support level right here can be. You see same thing here. Very nice clean signal. You see right there clean. You see right there clean. All the support and resistance level are pretty much dead on when it comes to level predicting where the price can stop, potential reversal, for example, in addition to that. So you can see the actual Scalper Premium is going to be a little bit different. As you can see, the signal right here is a lot, still very clean from that perspective. As we switch indicators, you can see the difference in that perspective. Now, strategy 2 is a combination of all those together. Now, the additional that we have that we're going to make within this video is our strategy 3. Totally different buys and sell indicators. So just think about it for a second. We have the Scalper X version 2 right here, have 3 buys and sell indicators when it's sell, reversal, buys and sell, and we have the elite version that give you very clean signal, for example. Now, when it comes to our next addition to our pretty much our indicators, we're going to talk about this Alpha ScalperX version 3. So basic strategy 3 is what it was showing, right? So as we turn up that strategy, we turn it on to this one. Now this is our Scalper version 3. So version 3 comes with buys and sells, strong buy, strong sell, letting you know the potential of that reversal. It's different than our reversal, but it's kind of similar to reversal. It's picking the area where it might have the strongest opportunity. Now, when it comes to strategy 3, just understand that strategy 3 buys and sell indicators are way different than every other indicators. It's different from the perspective that the measurement and everything else. So you can't, there's pretty much the version 2 and version 3 are not the same. You line them up next to each other, it will not be the same from that perspective. For example, it's going to be very different from the signal. So how do you use Scalper Alpha Scalper in version 3, for example? So to use the version 3 right here, or the strategy 3 to be specific, is pretty much going to use it with our amazing VWAP, our pretty much our one of our bread and butter right here that we created is our VRAP. Now, what's a VRAP? The traditional VRAP measuring the actual price, pretty much the VRAP is volume weighted average price, whatever that line might be, that's average price. But R is going to be a little bit different. R is going to be dynamics. It's going to be axed to the price, and it can't be used to act as the level of confluence where the price might get rejected, tested, and if it doesn't close above and change color, it will get rejected. You can see the rejection and the breakage of this. Once the actual price action reject or at least break the actual VWAP, it will turn color. It will break the actual VWAP lines, and it will make the new level where it feel like the price is maximum can go to before the actual trend is reversing. So as you can see for the strategy number 3 with our indicator right here, Alpha ScalperX3, you're going to use the different buys and sell indicators. Now you're going to use it in conjunction with the actual VWAP. So pretty much when you see the actual sell signal and the signal is above, for example, above the VWAP, and it's pretty much really close to the actual VWAP. What you want to do is to ensure it closed below it and it snapped, and the VWAP is now above it and turning red. Now, if the indication is not there where the price is there, it can wick down, for example, but it does not break this VWAP, right? The VWAP does not show from a closing perspective. So we can use the 1 hour, for example. It doesn't matter if the price is closed below it. If this thing does not break, the line does not break, the VWAP does not break, that means the actual, this is considered to be a fake out. So that's what our indicator VWAP is there for, to serve that purpose, is to ensure that the momentum in that direction has to be true, or at least majority true, 80% plus of the time. So just kind of refresh the cells and you see the VWAP. You have to make sure it closed below and has to break the line like this before you take that actual sell signal, for example. So in this case, we didn't see it break. You won't want to hold until you actually see it break around this particular price range right here. Is right there is when you take that particular sell signal. Now the exit in itself is really depend on your strategy, right? It really depends how far you want to take your profit, how far next support level might be a good idea. For example, so the take profit aspects is individually owned, individually tailored, right? So, but you can also think about that for a second. So just to make sure that whenever the actual price, specific the VWAP line, is green and you see the sell signal, you got to wait for it to break before you actually have an entry. Same thing here. As long as the actual price action is closed above the VWAP, now the VWAP is above and you have a clean call for an actual buy or strong buy, that is an indication for actually, taking that signal. For example, so you can see here when the signals are selling a sell and it's below the VWAP and it's turning red, that is a signal we're talking about. So as you can see, the combination of 3 different strategy right here on its own, where the scalper version 2 pretty much cover all the buys and sell from a scalping perspective. Scalper Premium to Scalper Elite, for example. Scalper Elite is measuring all different markets for consolidation, non-consolidation, low movement, low volume days, for example. Scalper Premium for an actual moving markets, pretty much market that is actually hyped up and have volume. It all measure in that perspective. So this indication itself right here is pretty much measuring along with the amazing support resistance level. So as you can see, I line them up right now. You see the signals are different, right? The signals, there's some confluence, some similarity. For example, in the signals itself, you have the Scalper Elite right here. Yeah, if I turn the Scalper Premium, for example, it's going to be different. Just kind of signify the differences in our signals itself. So with our indicators, just kind of showcase, you see right now, I'm going to turn the VWAP just to show that I'm going to turn it off. So you can that's the version 3, strategy 3. Now I'm going to turn this thing off. I'm going to show you strategy 2. So you see strategy 2, strategy 3. So it's different, right? There's a different in that combination, different in support and resistance. There's a different in bias and sell signal, for example. So that's our nut cells of our indicators. So if you join our memberships, you have all this 3 different strategies that you can play around with. You have the combination of measuring the actual direction. You talk about direction, direction, a confirm of that up direction, for example. That is strategy 1. If you want to use that as the scalping opportunity, you want to use that as the swing trade, spot trade, for example. Sniperx is the go-to indicator to measure all the importance of that direction, right? We want to trade with the trend. That would be the perfect opportunity for you to use. Now, strategy 2, you're pretty much using the buys and sell signals from the scalper premium to kind of measure all the scalping moves, lower time frame, high time frame, right? Doesn't really matter what time frames. It will works extremely well, and it works in conjunction with the amazing support and resistance level. So you can see right there, that's our scalper pretty much premium. The elite version is going to be amazing right there. You see, it's very clean. The difference between the scalper premium and scalper elite is that scalper elite have very clean signal that give you a very nice outcomes. The overall outcome, you don't need to worry about the in between buys and sell. You need to worry about too much fake signal. For example, this is where our indicators, pretty much have one stepped up on everyone else, for example. And now we don't stop there. For example, now we bring in the strategy 3, right? So this one comes in a combination with all the things that we're talking about, different support and resistance level, or you can actually turn the support and resistance level off and use it with strategy 2, for example, support and resistance level. But the important thing is you have different tool for you to work with in conjunction. So that's 3 strategy in its own. Now to top that off, for example, we're going to bring in our amazing scalper, pretty much our scalper dashboard. Our dashboard is not as simple as a dashboard that just shows some random information. The information that's showing here is actually more of a really nice confluence information that's measuring different information. So as you see, we talking about the actual dashboard is measuring different last close, right? Different time frame on the last close. Now, last close isn't talking about we're talking about like the actual candles itself. Are we talking 1 minute candle, 5 minute candle, 15 minute candle? Are you closing higher than the previous high or lower than the previous low? If you do not close higher than the previous high or close lower than the previous low, it will not change color. It will stay the same color to let you know that you are not making high from a closing perspective on a candle. Now, when it comes to VWAP, obviously it's our VWAP, right? It's just let you know that whether that price range in that particular time frame is it above the VWAP or below. Same thing with Sniperx. Sniperx R is pretty much measuring this momentum line, whether momentum is green or blue. How is that going to be beneficial? Is that you understand that as the ribbons continue to be green and it's increasing green from a 1 minute, it will ultimately lead to the actual 5 minutes, etc. It measures the actual change in momentum. So if you start seeing 1 minute turning green, it could lead up to the 5 minutes. So you understand the actual trend, at least on the short term, is reversing back up without actually going to a different time frame and monitor it. So this thing is pretty much measuring the actual momentum in itself right there, right? You're talking about the actual indicator right here is measuring actual Sniperx. It's measuring momentum on different time frames. So that momentum will lead to the actual breakage of different VWAP. If the momentum is strong enough, it will break the short-term time frame right here. We're talking about short-term time frame will lead to the medium-term time frame, will lead to high-term time frame. So that kind of indication let us know how strong is that momentum. Pretty much measuring different perspectives. So right there, and then more importantly, you have the RSI. The RSI pretty much letting us know the actual number. The number, right? It's easy for us to look at the RSI and pretty much the line, RSI line, for example, but it's very hard for us to go there and kind of see where's that number is. So to have the actual number reporting you live percentage, like, in terms of number, you can pretty much see. So one of the strategies that we kind of use with this too, it's not really a strategy, but it's more of an indicator, is that whenever we want to long a certain trend and we notice that the short-term time frame is, pretty much 70 to 80, in the over bot, for example, we're going to wait till that thing to scale down, die down, reset itself before we take that long of a continuation. So that's what it's there for. The RSI lets you know the number representative, like how much of those movement do we have left? Are we overbought, oversold? How much room do we have left? Next part, condition. The condition is like, so what is the current market condition right now? Well, for gold, all the time frame now is called the sideways market. Market's not moving that much. Let us know the sideways, right? All this here is kind of like the information we're talking about. It's going to let you know what they think and what we're going to base on the calculation. Is this going to be a continuation up on what the time frame might be? The 1 hour is continue down, continue up, or we're going to buy on the continue in that direction. So here is more of an informational chart, for example, that works on all different market timeframes and as well as all different devices. So this is more informational to kind of help you with the strategy 1, strategy 2, or strategy 3. So we have all this combination that's going to give you this well-rounded tool for you to actually trade to give you that better trading experience. So this is our indicators in one nutshell, three different strategy into one.